and Buffalo is in as a wild card. Good afternoon, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with Dan Deerdorf. A balmy day in Buffalo. Good day for Rob Johnson to get his first start.
Yeah, the first time here in '99, Vern, Rob, chance to shake off some rust. On the other side, Peyton Manning. He's the AFC's leading passer, the Pro Bowl starter. Always fun to watch him play.
It is a beautiful day in Buffalo. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment. Their trio as well, a veteran group, dreaming of a 5th Super Bowl appearance in 10 years. It's a New Year's edition of the Colts and the Bills, and it's next. To Western New York, the final weekend of the regular season, the NFL on CBS. The Colts and the Bills meeting for the second time. Andre Reed playing in his 241st game with the Bills.
Shannon Sharp, please. Has always talking trash.
You're paying, baby.
He's always trying to get inside your head.
Lehor, you don't know your elbows from your...
And sometimes he can get downright nasty.
I bet you pay transaction fees on your mutual funds. Your mama pays full commission. You know how to calculate a PE ratio?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
How diversified is your portfolio?
we created a smarter kind of investor.
You can't even spell Dow Jones. Okay, guys, let's get this right. To calculate a PE ratio, you divide the stock price.
Hi, I'm Chris Carter. I'd like to talk to you about a problem that can happen in your city, your community, to someone you love. The inability to tell the difference between a bid price and an ask price, a market order and a limit order. But thanks to programs like web shops, Schwab is making a difference. At Schwab branches across America, they'll teach you all about using the world's leading online broker. Pay attention. Just another way Schwab is helping to make smarter investors.
How do you look up a stock symbol again?
We awakened this morning and thought maybe they'd relocated Buffalo to the northern fringes of the Caribbean. It is 53 degrees. There is a brisk wind, and it will be significant in this game. Steve Christie will kick off now for the Buffalo Bills. The Indianapolis Colts won the toss, and they will be going into the wind. There is Terrence Wilkins, one kickoff return for a touchdown earlier this season. He, of course, is in his rookie year. The game not a sellout for the first time this season, so it has been blacked out locally. Short kick by Kriske and taken over the head of Keith Elias, and that is a free ball. And it's recovered by Indianapolis. Elias drifted over to his left. It bounced over his head, then touched twice. Bob McElwee signals Indianapolis ball.
I don't know if he lost it in the sun, but then Elias just a little nonchalant in trying to get the ball back. You can see there on the slide that Buffalo had it and then lost it. Again, that's one of those deals where the ball changed hands a couple times at the bottom of that pile. A wonderful opportunity for Buffalo lost.
Down pass come to an end last week in Cleveland. Marvin Harrison in motion. Play fake on first down. Lob it out to Ken Dilger, the tight end, and he is loose for big yardage to the 34-yard line. A 15-yard gain on first down, and the offensive line just caught that 15-yard pass is the tight end. First down at the 34, Jim Mora in his second season as the Colts head coach. Here's Edgerrin James, slips as he tries to make his cut to the right. And he is stopped by Marcellus Wiley, who starts today in place of Phil Hansen, who's resting sore ribs. Marcellus Wiley, Washington, and Bruce Smith second year as head coach in Buffalo. Second down, 11. Stunts by the defensive line. A little pass to Wilkins, and he moves it out to the 42-yard line, perhaps the 43. After the spot is made, Sam Cowart with the tackle.
So explosive on offense are the Indianapolis Colts because a lot of them run so well after the catch, and Terrence Wilkins might be at the head of that list. The rookie from Virginia is so explosive in the open field. He's not a big guy. Indianapolis is having to scramble to cover up a ball.
Third down. Peyton Manning only 4 yards away from a 4,000-yard season. Retreats, fires to Wilkins, and that will be enough for the first down out to the 47-yard line. The pass complete to Wilkins in front of Antoine Winfield.
Just really the identical pattern as before. All this time they start from a cluster. Take a look at the way the Indianapolis Colts, and we're going to see that a lot today. Tom Moore, their offensive coordinator, likes to put his receivers in what he calls clusters, and Moore working from the field. There he is. But he likes to confuse a defense by starting them in a group, and then like a hand grenade, they separate and go all different directions.
We'll elaborate on that graphic after this play. Here's the handoff to Edgerrin James across the 50 and down to the 46. The Indianapolis Colts now have a 4,000-yard passer in Peyton Manning. They have a 15-yard plus runner in Edgerrin James and a 1,500-yard plus pass receiver in Marvin Harrison. Second team to have done that.
And of course, Tom Moore, he was there for both. He was the offensive coordinator in Detroit in that spectacular season, and you start to think maybe there's a pattern here.
Scott Mitchell, Barry Sanders, and Herman Moore were the trio involved in 1995. Second down. Quick setup. Left side, caught by Harrison. He slips a tackle. He's one-on-one and is pushed out of bounds by Henry Jones.
Well, he got away from Antoine Winfield, the rookie cornerback, to that side of the field. It's good coverage initially. You can see there's Winfield, but he allows Harrison to get deep, and he makes a mistake trying to gamble for the football. If you're going to gamble for the football, Field did against a guy like Marvin Harrison.
That is the 112th catch for Harrison this season, and Manning a perfect 4 for 4 on this drive. Left side, Edgerrin James out of the corner, one-on-one with Jones, and out of bounds just inside the 11-yard line. John Holasek with the tackle.
And right now, Vern, Indianapolis is mixing things up so well. They've got this #1 ranked defense of the Buffalo Bills a little bit back on their heels. They're working both sides of the field, but as Peyton Manning told us, they're going to test Antoine Winfield. Ken Irvin, the corner to that side, had surgery a couple weeks ago on a foot. He's on IR, and Winfield has a tough assignment in front of him for a rookie.
And the ball has been spotted inside the 10. Now Paul Shields has a blocking back to the left side. Edgerrin James cuts over that area between left guard and center, and a nice defensive play by Marcellus Wiley, number 75.
Wiley figures into the rotation for Buffalo. He plays an awful lot, even though he's getting the start today, a rare start because of Hanson's ribs. Marcellus Wiley plays a lot of downs for the Buffalo Bills, and he deserves it. He's a very active guy, not a huge defensive end at 275, but a lot like Bruce Smith in that he's really a sideline to sideline type player.
Harrison's in the slot to the left with Winfield on him. Wilkins wide left, E.G. Green is wide right, 3rd and 3. And Manning pumps once, goes deep in the end zone for Dillner. It's incomplete. Henry Jones was back there, and Mike Vanderjagt, who has hit 24 successive field goals, comes on. Vanderjagt, the hero of last week's win in the snow in Cleveland when he hit a 21-yarder with 4 seconds left. Had a career long of 53 yards to win perhaps the most significant game of the year for Indianapolis, that in Miami, and that was on the final play of the game. For his 25th in a row, Steve Walsh will hold. Perfect. So a bit of a break when they recovered a muff from the open to the drive, and they get 3 out of this one. Happy with the kickoffs they were getting from Vanderjagt. And so Danny Kite was hired and has been more than serviceable at this position.
His only problem every now and then, Vern, is that he'll push one out of bounds.
Yes.
Which is pretty you take it when you can get it, and you smile all the way home.
This has become utopia. Well, it's a nice place.
I'm not saying it.
Blevins will kick off. And Kevin Williams drifts over to his right, has it at the 4-yard line. There's Bertrand Berry. Oh boy, what a wonderful open field tackle that was by Bertrand Berry, number 57. Bills' Rob Johnson gets his first start of the season when we come back. Was injured and gave way to Doug Flutie in game 5 with the team down, had a 1-3 record at the start of that game. And this is second start since then. It goes immediately to Andre Reed. As Andre Reed closes in on a couple of significant year. Second down and 7. Andre Reed needs 4 catches today to equal Art Monk as the number 2 receiver behind Jerry Rice. Needed 4. He needs 3 now. They go right side. And it's caught by Bobby Collins, number 84. Now let's check the offensive line in front of Rob Johnson. Fina, the Pro Bowler Reuben Brown. Bill Conati gets a start for an injured Jerry Ostrowski today. Ziegler and Robert Hicks. Antoine Smith from the Turf Toe is back in the lineup. Bobby Collins, Eric Moulds, Andre Reed, and Jay Remersma. Notice the absence of Sam Gash. He is on the inactive list. The Pro Bowl fullback is resting injured ribs. Reed right side, left side. And this is Antoine Smith, inactive the last couple of games because of the lingering effects of that turf toe. Defensively for Indianapolis, Bernard Whittington, Larry Chester. Play fake. Johnson looks deep, has to scramble to get by Ellis Johnson. Now will tuck it and run, and is out of bounds. Short of the first down.
Well, Rob Johnson showing everybody here that Doug Flutie isn't the only quarterback in town that can take off with the football. And I think the one thing you see here is, first of all, good protection. He gets a good look downtown. Now Ellis Johnson forces him from the pocket, but Johnson has speed. This is a guy who can run. Rob Johnson, not afraid to take off with the football. It's a big guy at 6'4", 212. With Johnson, it's just a case of ring rust. It's been he has completed 1 pass this entire season out of 2 attempts. That's not a lot of work.
3rd and 1. Johnson looks deep, goes deep, and he's got Kevin Williams at the 29-yard line. In front of Jeff Burris.
Well, Joe Pendry gives Johnson a little bit of a rollout here, but he spots the single coverage right away. Williams on Burris. Williams breaks the post, and Burris so close. Pretty good coverage, and the outstretched hand of Jeff Burris. Boy, that was a pretty pass.
36-yard gain and a first down at the 29-yard line. Antoine Smith darts to the left, gets into the secondary, and is spilled at the 21-yard line. A lot going on today in the NFL. Let's go back to New York and check in with Jim Nantz.
All right, Vern, Colt fans, take note here. Cincinnati is on the board. Cedric.
If Indy can win and Jacksonville loses, then Indianapolis gets home field throughout. Antoine Smith darts right, goes by Chad Cota, rumbles for the corner, in for the touchdown.
Well, containment is lost. You see too far upfield is Burt Berry, the linebacker to that side, and Chad Cota, the strong safety, too far to the inside, not able to reverse back when Antoine Smith changes his course of direction.
High snap, nice hold is down by Chris Moore, and Steve Christie has now hit 138 tries for the point in succession.
And Chad Cota a little late reacting back to the outside. Watch Berry right here. See that step upfield? That killed him. And then Cota a little late reacting back to the outside. You can't allow a running back to reverse his field and go into the end zone without even getting a glove on the guy. Berry, by the way, in there at outside linebacker because Cornelius Bennett had to come out of the game. That's normally his spot.
Here is Terrence Wilkins off the Christie kick, tries to get to the outside and is unable to do so. He's tackled at the 30-yard line. The charge led by Keith Newman. Peyton Manning comes on with the Colt offense for the second time. And they lead it 7-3, Peyton Manning. And the Colts at the 30. Double tight end set. Harrison is in motion, followed by Thomas Smith. Manning will throw on first down. Comes right for Wilkins, and it slipped through his hands. Now let's go back to our New York studios and get another and 10. Manning in week 1, which was a convincing victory by Indianapolis over Buffalo of 31-14. Second down and 10. Edgerrin James will stutter step at the line of scrimmage and good for a gain of 5. Well, let's check in with the third member of our commentary team. Here is Bonnie Bernstein.
Happy New Year, everyone. After 15 seasons as a Buffalo Bill, today will be Andre Reed's last game at Ralph Wilson Stadium. He's kind of shied away from the media this week, but when we walked through the tunnel today, I said, Andre, is this it? And he said, yeah, this is it. He's been very emotional. His role on the offense here has been kind of diminished, but Vern, as you mentioned, he's now 4 catches shy of setting the NFL all-time receiving record, and Wade Phillips told me he's going to make an extra effort to get him the ball today.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. And again, that's a message that Andre gave to Bonnie. There's been no public announcement whatsoever that this is Andre Reed. There's been a lot of speculation, Dan, as Dilger makes the catch, that if for salary cap reasons, if nothing else, this might be his last year.
Well, Eric Moulds has become the go-to guy in terms of receiving for the Buffalo Bills. They have a rookie in Peerless Price, their second-round choice this year. He's coming on, but it is salary cap. That's what's going to make it difficult for Andre Reed to come back. But it's still a possibility. Now, if Andre says that's it, you know, I don't know if he's maybe being fatalistic and saying it doesn't look good, or if that's a definitive, this is it.
Here's a play fake, pressure. Manning is hit. Dilger drops the ball. Did not establish possession. Pat Williams, the backup nose tackle, got to Manning.
Pat Williams, as you see right there, replaces Ted Washington, Vern, and brings an awful lot to this defensive line. He's not just a run stuffer. We saw last week in New England that this is a guy very, very active out of that backup nose tackle position.
James coming right, breaks a tackle, falls forward to the 48-yard line. It was Sean Price, number 91, who made the initial contact. Edgerrin James, over 1,500 yards now, and had a pretty good cushion on his pursuers in terms of winning the overall title.
Came into the game today 98 yards ahead of Stephen Davis of Washington, who's not playing today because of injury, and almost 200 yards against ahead of everybody else. So he would have to have a major failing today, and somebody have to uncork a 300-yarder for him not to win it.
And that somebody would be Curtis Martin. Here's Manning. Goes to his third receiver, E.G. Green, and that is short of the first down. It brings up a fourth at midfield. The tackle made by Donovan Greer, number 25. And that brings on Hunter Smith, and Kevin Williams heads back to await it. Hunter Smith's dead last in the league in net punt average.
And we talked about those records, Vern. This Buffalo defense, which held out on this series right here, they're very cognizant of the fact that they've got the lead as the #1 defense in the league, which is measured in terms of yards, not points. And they would very much like to win that.
Hunter Smith hangs it way up in the air. And that will be into the end zone and ruled as a touchback. 50-yard punt, not on the return. The net tickets are available online through NFL.com. Moulds comes left. Jonathan Linton is the running back now. On first down and 10. Here's Johnson coming left for Eric Moulds. Contact made by Tyrone Poole, and he is out of bounds. Saturday on CBS, join Dick Clark with 7-3. Bills lead. And Linton remains the running back. Had fumble problems last week in New England. He put 2 on the ground. Gets the handoff here. and struggles to reach the 30. Might have gotten it. Michael Barber, number 53. Now, on the opening series, Dan, Cornelius Bennett sprained his knee.
I think it's just the second play of the game. He'll come in from the left right there, and he's going to be cut by Antoine Smith. You can see he takes a shot right there on his left knee. He holds it, and Cornelius goes over to the bench and starts taking off his clothes. He's finished for the day, and that means that Burt Berry is going to have to play in his spot.
Johnson from Olds got him in stride, deep left side. Over Jason Belzer. 42-yard gain.
Well, it's a corner blitz. Tyrone Poole's going to come on the corner blitz. You see him there on the right, which means Belzer has the outside part of the field, and this is a mismatch. Jason Belzer does not have the foot speed to run with Eric Moulds. And how about Rob Johnson, Vern, and the way he has started this game throwing the football? That is just a perfect drop-in to Eric Moulds.
First down at the 28-yard line. Johnson a perfect 5 of 5 for 92 yards. Reed starts in motion. They hand it off to Linton. Cutback play. And filling the middle is Michael Barber, number 53, with the tackle.
Well, Wade Phillips wanted to be very clear in saying my starting Rob Johnson is not a case of us not wanting to win this game. He's good enough to win this football game. Everybody else is playing who's healthy. We came here today to win. I got to admit it, Vern, they look like they're trying.
Bills lead at 7-3 and will return to Ralph Wilson Stadium for Glanville.
This crowd, they have fun. It has started to rain here in Orchard Park, so not enough to really cause, I think, much in the way of traction problems yet.
Linton remains in the backfield on second down, gets the handoff, finds obstruction, and then cuts to his left down to the 23-yard line. The tackle made by Burton Berry. Let's once again check in with Jim Nance.
All right, thanks for an update down Jackson.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Moore isn't hardwired right to our Jim Nance to get these updates. He is vitally interested in what's going on in Jacksonville. They would like the Dome to be theirs all the way through the playoffs.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 5. Corner blitz coming. Belzer. Johnson gets by him, drills it in the end zone, and down at the end zone, no catch. Peerless Price, the intended receiver.
Well, again, Rob Johnson demonstrating his mobility, getting away from an untouched Jason Belzer, and then running off his foot. He tries to get this in. Well, you can hear the reaction of the crowd. They saw this the same time that we did. Wow. The question is Peerless Price out of bounds when he catches the football? He certainly caught it. I don't think possession is a question. Is he out of bounds? Remember, the pylon is both in the end zone and wow. Now keep in mind, it's ruled on the field that is an incomplete pass. Vern, that looked like a touchdown.
I thought it was.
That looks like a touchdown. I think we're going to have a challenge.
Bill Lovett is the official who made the call, the field judge. Now McElwee is going to huddle with Wade Phillips.
Buffalo has challenged the ruling on the field.
Catch made back.
I think that's a touchdown.
Yep, and I do believe that's indisputable visual evidence to overturn the call.
Do you have a vote?
No.
Neither do I.
Obviously not.
And I agree with you. And if it was up to us, I'd be compelled to award Buffalo a touchdown.
Well, that is the key that we've hammered about all year long.
And everybody in Indianapolis is going, you two don't know anything. Why don't you two shut up? Now he heads to the locker room. They just can't seem to get Antoine Smith back into the flow. It takes real indisputable evidence to overturn the officials' ruling on the field, rather. One more chance here as we look at Peerless Price, who goes down to get it. I think that is a touchdown.
It just appeared to be, Dan, that the catch was made before contact was made with the sideline.
Boy, Price did a wonderful job of keeping.
The catch is good.
That's where you take instant replay and say it works. The proponents will use this play to say this is why we have it. This was a good job of, first of all, us getting a really good look at it. Nice work, everybody. And it's easy to see, Vern, how the official on the spot made that ruling because he can't see the football. Peerless Price has his back to him, and he rules it in. He rules on what he sees.
Peerless Price gets the touchdown on the challenge, which is upheld.
And Rob Johnson comes out on fire.
And word from the bench that Antoine Smith, this was not a turf toe reoccurrence of that injury. He was dinged in the head.
Right. But the turf toe is what has kept him from having a good year. He only got 500+ yards.
Rob Johnson's got that California look going here in Buffalo. Touchdown. 14-3. Second-round draft pick in his first year with the Buffalo Bills.
So that was just a superlative job of going down there and digging the football out. And again, it's pretty hard to over-compliment Rob Johnson and the way he started this football game.
Donovan Greer will hold the ball on the tee. Here's Christie. And this one taken by Wilkins at the 8-yard line. Comes left. Knocked down by Darrell Porter, number 22. Rob Johnson, 6 of 6 for 115 yards.
Got the bandana thing working for him here today. I'm not. The fashion police might arrest Rob and drag him off. I'm not sure about that look, Vern. What do you think?
It depends on where the fashion police reside. Here's the handoff. Ted Washington makes the tackle on Edger and James. If you want to go over the last quarter of last week and the first quarter and a half of this one, the Bills have now had 18 passes in succession completed.
Yeah,
Doug Flutie hit 12 in a row last week.
Yeah, he had a strong finish both at the end of regulation and then through the overtime period in Foxborough last week. And Doug is healthy. He could have played today, but this is Wade Phillips just deciding that we need to see Rob Johnson.
Second down and 9. Flags down. Manning hit as he lets it go right side. Intercepted by Antoine Winfield. Winfield heading left. And this one might come back.
Yeah, there's no doubt Gabe Northern was across the line of scrimmage. So it's either going to come back because Buffalo was offsides or he was drawn across with a false start. Either way, it negates it.
Also, roughing the quarterback on Bruce Smith might be a part of this equation.
Northern was number 99. Gabe Northern was across the ball at the snap. We start with that. There's the offside.
So a double dose for Buffalo.
Yeah. There's Northern, number 99. The hard count by Mahi's across at the snap.
Offside, 99 defenses decline. Personal foul, 99 defense is also declined. Roughing the passer, 75 defense is accepted. 15 yards first down.
Well, Marcellus Wiley getting the call. All right, now let's take a look at it. What we're looking at right now, that's Sam Cowart. And there comes Bruce Smith. And Wiley, there coming in from the right side, looked like he took a shot at Peyton Manning's head as he goes down. Bruce Smith in with the initial hit. That's not what the referee was, Bob McElwee was singling out. Marcellus Wiley with a forearm. So 3 penalties by Buffalo on one play. I'd say that Antoine Winfield about the only guy that didn't commit a penalty on that play. He just got an interception that's negated.
And now first down and 10 out near the 40-yard line. First and 10. Early moments, second quarter. 14-3. Manning with the change. Right side. Caught. Marcus Pollard, the backup tight end, with the grab.
Well, and Jim Morris screaming on the sideline. He wants a roughing call right there. He said, throw the flag here. Just a short little hitch here, just a couple-yard pass to Pollard. And up quick, Henry Jones. And right here's what Jim Morris, I say, hey, they're out of bounds, play's over. He thinks that was a little excessive, throwing him afterwards.
Yeah, we saw that steer wrestling last week.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
No flag.
2nd down and 6. 14-3. Play clock.
Nope. They didn't get it off. They did not get it off.
Delay a game.
Bruce Smith was inciting the crowd, gets up out of his stance.
Delay of the game. Offense. 5 yards. 2nd down.
Now, Bruce Smith, keep in mind, this is a 15-year player. There's about 5 seconds left to go on the clock. He's up there saying, get going. He's pointing at him for being late. He's trying to get the crowd into this game. Keep in mind, the only thing at stake for Buffalo today is whether they're the number 5 or the number 6 seed.
2nd down, 11 after the penalty, and here's Manning. Settles for his tertiary receiver, Edgerrin James, out of the backfield. Let's go back to Jim Nantz with an update.
All right, Vern, Dan, and
Boston last week. I saw a Cosell documentary this week. So tertiary.
Tertiary is good.
Yeah.
And Jim Nantz, I think that Jim Moore is going to listen to you more if you start talking about Cincinnati scoring.
Right.
He doesn't want to hear anything about Jacksonville scoring.
Now here's going to be the stretch of the chain.
We're being told, by the way, that Antoine Smith has a concussion, and it's unsure as to whether or not he'll play anymore today for the Bills.
Smith out for the Bills, and Cornelius Bennett, who really was looking forward to this game today, having spent 9 years of his stellar career with the Bills.
And in his 3 years in Atlanta, they did not come here to Orchard Park to play. So there's Cornelius. He was very much looking forward to actually telling us this week. He wondered how he would be treated this week. I knew the answer to that. Well, this crowd loves it.
3rd and 1. Edgerrin James, contact behind the line. Did he scoot forward? I believe he did, to the 50-yard line. Looks like the spot is going to be favorable to the Colts, and it is.
Power football. Boy, and what a great block on the right side. Adam Meadows, Waverly Jackson, double teaming with center Larry Moore. That's a good surge at the point of attack.
1st and 10. Wilkins wide to the left side, matched up with Thomas Smith. Harrison and Antoine Winfield wide right. Manning across the middle to Marcus Pollard. Slips out of the first tackle and gets 5 yards to the 45. Sam Cowart with the stop. Next Saturday, CBS Sports.
And boy, just a shame. Now you hope that he's ready to go for the playoffs. Of course, Indianapolis, win or lose today, still gets the bye.
They do get next week off. That's right. Time called. That is the first time burned by the Indianapolis Colts. They're at the 45. You'll just click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com. 2nd down, 5 from the 45. Manning is 10 of 13 in the early going. Here's James going around the right side with a block supplied by Adam Meadows, and he runs into Antoine Winfield. Clock stopping at 10:29.
Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for this Indianapolis unit, Vern, has really, I think, done a wonderful job of getting them to play better on defense, because let's face it, this offense gets so much publicity, so much attention, so many good things coming their way because of James and Harrison and Manning, that sometimes those defensive guys are a little bit left out.
Out of the spread, 3rd and 2, high snap, handoff. Edgerrin James going right and into the secondary. Whoa!
James, the ball carrier.
14-yard gain.
He is just been, he's been a pleasant surprise to the Colts because they knew what they were drafting. A lot of attention when they passed on Ricky Williams and went for Edgerrin James. They knew that they were getting a guy that could play all 3 downs for them. But let's face it, nobody knew that he would have the impact that he's had this year.
Now, he's had a remarkable first year. Remarkable. And financially rewarding.
To the tune of about $15 million. Yes.
Edgerrin James up the middle. Well, the amazing thing, Dan, is how well circumstances worked out, not only for Edgerrin James and the Colts, but with their decision to send Marshall Faulk to the Rams.
Well, it's one of those deals that just worked out for everybody. Marshall, a lot was made that they didn't get a lot from Marshall Faulk, and you can see Marshall's numbers with the Rams as he has carried them to the #1 seed in the NFC. How well has this worked out for both clubs? You take a look at that. Faulk over 1,000 receiving and 1,000 rushing. And the Rams, let's face it, that was a great trade. A 2 and a 5 is what they had to pay for Faulk.
Manning is hit as he lets it go, and the pass is incomplete. Pat Williams again got through and put his arms around Peyton Manning.
Well, Pat Williams had a huge game last week against New England. And he spells Ted Washington at the nose tackle position. And you can see right there, he ended up with a one-on-one against center Larry Moore. And he just overpowered Moore in getting that penetration right into the face of Peyton Manning. Pat Williams is only a second-year guy. And I'll tell you something, he's got a great future in this league.
Colts loaded up on the left side. All 3 wide receivers are camped there. Now E.J. Green starts in motion. 4-man Buffalo rush. They go across the middle. Dilger, the tight end. And that is going to be good for the first down. A gain of 10 and a 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Winfield and Marlowe Perry defending.
Ken Dilger, who was bothered by a bad neck coming into this game. There was some question as to how much he was going to play today. And he's a guy that really the only starter on this football team that's going to be a free agent at the end of this season. And Jim Moore telling us how much they would like to re-sign Ken Dilger and keep him on this club.
1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Manning, little low, just a little low for Marvin Harrison.
Manning's pass intended for Marvin Harrison.
I think Marvin Harrison, as would any wide receiver in this league, tell you if you're going to make a mistake on that pass, go ahead and make it low. I'd rather be down there. Right. I'd rather be down there trying to scrape it off my shoe tops than I would trying to catch the one hurt.
Harrison goes right against Antoine Winfield. Now with 1,642 yards in receptions this year. Edgerrin James circles to the right, then cuts back. Holosack is one of the first to make contact. Kurt Schultz also there. Lengthy drive put together now by the Indianapolis Colts as they try to get within 4.
Well, they keep hammering away with Edgerrin James. You see 11 rushes on the day. This is a Buffalo team that only gives up about 88 yards a game rushing. But Jim Moore knows 2 things. One, if he keeps hammering away with James, he'll find success sooner or later. And secondly, it sets up their play action passing, the best in the NFL.
3rd and 7. Bruce Smith coming. Manning is hit again. The catch is complete at the 6-yard line. Marvin Harrison with his second grab, but the spot is going to be about 3 feet short of the first down.
And again, Bruce Smith and Marcellus Wiley both getting in on Peyton Manning. From the left is Wiley. You see that Bruce Smith was in his face, but Wiley's the one with the hit. Again, here's a look. There's Bruce Smith, but coming from the left, that's Marcellus Wiley. And Peyton Manning, I know that this is making Jim Moore a little uncomfortable. This is the best pass protecting line in the league, and they're getting run over a little bit.
You like the decision? Go for 3 instead of the first down. And high snap. Vanderjagt kicks his second of the day and his 26th in succession. But the Colts, with that very lengthy drive, had to settle for 3. A drive that took 7 29.
And Jim Moore obviously just thinking that we're still in the second quarter. There's a lot of football to be played. I'll take my sure points and get off the field. He's getting off the field. He knows Peyton Manning isn't going to get in again.
Here's the Danny Kite kick. Kevin Williams grabs it on the run, goes into the end zone, decides to bring it out. And does so to the 17-yard line. Keith Elias was down there with the tackle. 14-6.
Bit today. Now see, there's an outfit that's never out of style. That's
define for me when it went in style.
It's in style in Sturgis every year.
Here's Eric Moulds out of the backfield right side in front of Jeff Burris. Well, Rob Johnson's had a terrific day. Peyton Manning has been getting a beating from this Bill defense.
Yeah, keep in mind this is an offensive line that's only given up 14 sacks all season long. They take care of him better than any quarterback in the league. And a little bit of a letdown here so far against Buffalo. The Buffalo defensive line is winning the battle up front big time. And Manning is paying the price for that loss.
Jonathan Linton gets the handoff on second down and short. That'll move the chains out to the 30-yard line. Saturday on CBS, join Dick Clark for the biggest game show in TV history. From the creator of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, don't miss Winning Lines. It premieres Saturday on CBS. First down and 10 from the 30. Antoine Smith taken to the locker room with a concussion. His return doubtful. Already 51 yards on the ground. We haven't seen Thurman Thomas yet from scrimmage. Play fake. Johnson goes right. Fires it deep for Eric Moulds and just overthrows him. Oh, mercy, he had it.
Oh, did Eric Moulds give Rob Johnson a good look? He's running a crossing pattern, and about halfway across the field, he has a decision to make. Do I go shallow and cut in front of Chad Cota, number 37, or do I run behind him? And he decides to run behind him, and look how open he is. And Johnson just a skosh too far with the football. That was really great work by Eric Moulds of giving Johnson a downfield target, just a little too much on the ball.
Second down and 10. Linton cut back play to the 34-yard line. So Antoine Smith in the locker room. Thurman Thomas able to go now. Thomas, of course, was injured on the first play of the first game against these Colts and was out for 11 weeks with a bruised liver. And came back, had a big game last Sunday in New England. 3rd and 6. We've yet to see Thurman Thomas on the field today,
which is kind of surprising.
Yep. Empty backfield on 3rd and 6. Bill Conaty getting the start at center today is over the ball. Only the second start of his career. Corner blitz, Belzer, and the catch made by Peerless Price in front of Mike Barber.
And that might be the slowest safety blitz of all time. Jason Belzer comes in unblocked and he stops. Here's it. Watch from the left side of your screen. Belzer got to the line of scrimmage and pulled up. It's like he made a decision. I guess I can't get there, so I'll just stop. And it gave Rob Johnson another second or two to find an open receiver, that time Price.
First down and 10. Reamersma in motion. Linton with a handoff. Finds some blocking help around the left side and totes it out to the 48-yard line. Jason Belzer with the tackle.
Well, we started this game with a completion to Andre Reed. I believe that's his only catch of the game so far. It leaves Andre 3 short now of tying Art Monk for second place in NFL history and in career receptions. And it would be, boy, it would really be nice to see him move into second place all by himself today here at Orchard Park.
Here comes the blitz again. Play fake. Right side. The big tight end Sheldon Jackson, only his 3rd catch of the year. And he moved it heavily. Heavily. That's a lot of mass.
Well, he initially lines up at the fullback position. They were in an I formation, so they really disguised the fact that they had a tight end back there in the blocking position, and I'm sure Jeff Burris out there. He's listed at 250, and Vern, I'm with you. He looks a lot bigger than that.
Reed left side. Rob Johnson settles for the Jackson, the tight end, second consecutive play to the 31-yard line.
And this time Jackson is met by all three of the Colts linebackers.
Well, Rob Johnson spent 3 years, relatively unproductive years in Jacksonville before the trade that brought him here in the winter of '98. And he opened the season last year as the starting quarterback, but they went 1-3. Remember, they had the big victory here against San Francisco, and then he was injured in Game 5, and the Flutie frenzy started shortly after that.
Yeah, he had a rib injury in that 5th game, and then it became the Doug Flutie show.
Caught, first down. He is shining today. He said, "This is my game of the year."
Well, the Buffalo Bills have a lot invested in Rob Johnson. They gave up a 1st and a 4th to get him. So first of all, they gave up a lot in draft choices. And then secondly, they gave him $25 million, which is a lot of dinero. But this is why he's really a solid football player. Nobody knew Doug Flutie was going to come out and perform the way he did last year. But let's be realistic, Vern. Doug Flutie has not had a 99 anywhere near what he did in '98.
11 of 12 for Johnson now for 168. Linton breaks into the secondary and down to the 10. And we have reached the 2-minute warning in Buffalo, New York.
Johnson is a good quarterback. I think what's apparent is that Buffalo has taken exception to all of this talk about Indianapolis coming in here, maybe winning by more than 14 points, etc., etc. Obviously, they're a little upset about it.
Linton tests the middle again, surges down on 2nd down and 3. Well, the injury to Rob Johnson that gave Doug Flutie his opening last year occurred in Week 5 on this play.
It's a rib injury, and it sent Johnson to the sideline, of course, against the Colts. And it certainly doesn't look like a whole lot. It kind of an innocent stumble to the ground, but it certainly altered the season of Rob Johnson, and it allowed Doug Flutie to explode all the way to the Pro Bowl.
First down and goal from the 5. Reimers in motion. Linton again. Contact made at the 3. The ball moved down to the 5. Andre Reed appears distressed by something on that play.
I don't know if he's unhappy that he didn't get the block that he wanted to get. I don't know if he's unhappy they didn't throw him the ball. I don't know if maybe his bunion's hurt. I'm not sure what it is, but he's certainly unhappy about something.
Could be all of the above. He's off. 2nd down and goal just inside the 3-yard line.
The Bills now go to a power formation. This is the one-hand grenade gets them all deal.
Linton, the running back. Toss to Linton. John Fina trying to lead the way. And does. Touchdown.
Wade Phillips was really adamant when he said, do not read anything into me starting Rob Johnson instead of Doug Flutie as anything other than just me wanting to give Rob Johnson some work. He is good enough to win this football game. My team is going to play to win. Well, I would say that he was fairly accurate there.
There are a few doubters here. Christie for the extra point. Chris Moore with a hold.
And for everyone following Jim Mora and his Colts, thinking that maybe there was a good chance that Buffalo was going to roll over and play dead, forget about it. Again, one more look at it. See John Fina coming around the block of Jackson. And again, it's just good power football. Buffalo Bills right at you. And I think, one of many people who've been around this league for a long time who are pleased at the success of Wade Phillips. One of the really, really good guys. And it's got nothing to do with Jim Moore or the Colts or anything else. Wade Phillips is one of the good guys in this league. take a look at it again. Bobby Collins, the tight end at the point of attack. You're looking at the block there of Sheldon Jackson as he comes down and pins Jason Belzer. And then it's John Fina out front and Linton untouched.
3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. And all 3 drives in excess of 80 yards. Pretty impressive.
Not bad. Not bad. That's not. This is not the way the Indianapolis defensive unit wants to finish a season.
And coming in, Dan, you might argue the case that the Colts had more to achieve with a victory here than did Buffalo. Buffalo is locked in as the number 5 seed. Through circumstances this weekend, they might fall to the number 6. But the Colts, of course, with a victory here in Jacksonville defeat, had a chance to secure, and they still do, home field throughout.
There again, Vern alluded to those drives. Look at that, 83, 80, and 82 yards. Yeah, Buffalo knows they're going to have to go on the road. They're either going to Jacksonville, they're either going to Tennessee, or they're going to Seattle. They're going to go to one of those 3 places to play next week.
Wilkins in trouble and dragged down at the 30-yard line. The tackle made by Marlo Perry. Coming up on the NASDAQ halftime report, Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights. Plus, Greg Gumbel and Phil Simms will have a report on the Miami-Washington game. That's on the NASDAQ halftime report. Well, if it ended today, the wild card games would be Buffalo at Tennessee and Kansas City at Seattle. Of course, Indianapolis and Jacksonville in the divisional playoffs as the host teams. But that could all get scrambled by 7 o'clock tonight.
And probably will.
And you don't even want to think about the NFC playoff.
No.
It's a joy to be doing AFC. You know, St. Louis is the dominant team in the National Football Conference, and a lot of other things could happen.
And of course, the question in the NFC will 8-8 be good enough to get in the playoffs?
If it ended now, Dallas would open at Washington, Detroit at Minnesota. The Rams and Tampa Bay would be the home teams. But again, that's part of the puzzle which will be solved before this day is out.
Yeah, at halftime we're going to have Professor Irwin Corey come along and explain it.
And then Norm Crosby will
yeah, he'll follow up.
Right.
And then he'll take questions.
Timeout called by the Colts. That's their second, 1 left. And one of the big plays in this first half was a reversal of a call. First ruled incomplete, a catch by Peerless Price, but then challenged by Buffalo, and Bob McElwee said that's a touchdown. NASDAQ halftime report, 13 seconds away. Right side, Edgerrin James. Winfield makes the tackle.
Indianapolis goes ahead and takes the timeout. James had a chance to step
out of the shotgun. Here's Manning, 4-man Buffalo rush. Deep across the middle to an unsuspecting E.G. Green. He never turned back.
That makes it really difficult to catch a pass. And Jim Mora right now is thinking about walking over and having a little chat with E.G. E.G., my man, you got to look at the ball to catch the ball.
For example.
Yeah.
Let's go down to
first half on their, that's on their way to 500. And if that's not enough, they're going to get the ball
to start in the second half, the Buffalo Bills. So Jim Mora, I think, has a decision. How long do I let Peyton Manning play? How long do I let him get hit? His starters don't deserve to come out of the ball game, but the reality of it is that you do have to get ready for the playoffs. So Jim Mora has, I think, a couple tough calls coming up.
Danny Kite will kick off for the Indianapolis Colts. Wade Phillips' team has Kevin Williams deep. And again, the ball is blown off the tee. It is an extraordinary early January day, no matter which century, in Buffalo, New York. Temperature at game time was in the 50s. Walking out of that hotel room this morning and down the corridor and out the front door was pleasant.
Safe to say we all brought clothes that we're not wearing. I had some scarves and gloves that made a trip for nothing.
This one taken by Williams at the 10. Contact at the 20, and he is tackled at the 20-yard line. Keith Elias again down for the tackle, and we check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Just touch base with a very frustrated Jim Moore. I said, Coach, what's wrong? He said, what's wrong? We can't stop him. Our defense didn't play well against Cleveland last week. We're not playing now. We can't stop the run. We can't stop the pass. We just have to do something. Offensively, I don't even get the sense, Dan, you were talking about the point differential, that Moore is even worried about that. He said, we just need to get our guys in a red zone in a position to score touchdowns instead of having to settle for the field goal. Vern.
All right, Bonnie, first down at the 21-yard line. 21-6, Rob Johnson. First start of the season.
Let's go down to first half on their, that's on their way to 500. And if that's not enough, they're going to get the ball
to start in the second half, the Buffalo Bills. So Jim Moore, I think, has a decision. How long do I let Peyton Manning play? How long do I let him get hit? His starters don't deserve to come out of the ball game, but the reality of it is that you do have to get ready for the playoffs. So Jim Moore has, I think, a couple tough calls coming up.
Danny Kite will kick off for the Indianapolis Colts. Wade Phillips' team has Kevin Williams deep. And again, the ball is blown off the tee. It is an extraordinary early January day, no matter which century, in Buffalo, New York. Temperature at game time was in the 50s. Walking out of that hotel room this morning, and down the corridor and out the front door was pleasant.
Safe to say we all brought clothes that we're not wearing. I had some scarves and gloves that made a trip for nothing.
This one taken by Williams at the 10. Contact at the 20, and he is tackled at the 20-yard line. Keith Elias again down for the tackle, and we check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Just touch base with a very frustrated Jim Moore. I said, Coach, what's wrong? He said, what's wrong? We can't stop him. Our defense didn't play well against Cleveland last week. We're not playing now. We can't stop the run. We can't stop the pass. We just have to do something. Offensively, I don't even get the sense, Dan, you were talking about the point differential, that Moore is even worried about that. He said, we just need to get our guys in a red zone in a position to score touchdowns instead of having to settle for the field goal. Vern.
All right, Bonnie, first down at the 21-yard line. 21-6, Rob Johnson. First start of the season. Andre Reed, second catch. Out to the 23. That gives him 49 for the season. If he catches one more, it will be his 13th season of 50-plus catches,
which would tie him with Jerry Rice in that department. And this is exactly the way they started the football game, with a short pass to Andre Reed, and they didn't come back to him for the rest of the half. Again, he needs just two more to tie Art Monk. Well,
there's
one more.
And this crowd is very much aware of it. Rob Johnson holding his right wrist. Contact made. Andre Reed in his 15th season, a fourth-round draft pick. Grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and what might be his last game in this stadium.
And that's with a lead, this is the luxury that you have. And you see right there, Rob Johnson on the follow through. Did he hit Ellis Johnson when he swung on through?
Third and 1. Johnson pulls up and throws it away. 4th and 1. Mark Thomas putting pressure on it.
Well, you kind of got the feeling that he was trying to find Andre Reed. And again, I mentioned it's kind of a luxury when you're up 21-6, that when you have someone who needs just a couple of catches, that you can afford to go ahead and take a couple stabs, maybe settle for a short pattern when maybe something more of a intermediate nature might be better for you. And it would be nice to get it for Andre. The crowd here would appreciate it.
First punt of the day for Chris Moore. Nice and high, but not terribly long. And Wilkins grabs it. and returns it to the 36-yard line. That's a 39-yard punt and 5 on the return. Time call. Ball game on which Buffalo has not scored. They go 3 and out. Colts have it, trailing 21-6. Manning goes to Marvin Harrison, who is dumped by Antoine Winfield.
Well, we saw Antoine Winfield struggle a little bit with some of the coverages in the first half. This is the one thing that everyone here in Buffalo knows that he can do. He is a great tackler. And that is textbook. Look at how he gets down, drives the shoulder right into Marvin Harrison. And Marvin, kind of a slight receiver, when he's back on his heels like that, a pretty good target. But Antoine Winfield, not a real big guy, but he'll hit you, and hit you hard.
He backs off now. The blitz is coming. And the handoff goes to Edgerrin James, who slips around the left side out to the 45-yard line. Sam Rogers with the tackle. Injury update from the defensive side of the Colts. Ellis Johnson is out with a calf injury and doubtful to return in this game. So they've got Cornelius Bennett and Ellis Johnson on the bench. 3rd down and 1. 48 yards for the day. Well, Wade Phillips was telling us earlier this week they contained Edgerrin James fairly well in game 1.
Yeah, he had one 40-yard run, and that was because a couple of his guys ran into each other. But he praised his unit and their ability to corral this guy right here.
Draw out of the shotgun, and James coming right. Winfield knocks him out of bounds, but he picks up the 1st down near the 50.
One of the reasons that Edgerrin James has been having a lot of success running the football is his play-action passing game of the Colts forces the safeties to play the run second. In other words, they've been getting burned early in the season, and Peyton telling us that as the season goes along, teams have been getting better about playing the play action. Winfield and Harrison right there, and Marvin doing a pretty good job of tying up Winfield, although he doesn't lose his contain. That's what's important. But the play action of the Colts, the big play, is what everybody in this league is trying to shut down.
They come right side for Marcus Pollard, and it's incomplete. 2nd down and 10. This is a Colts use a lot of double tight end sets, so he's played a lot this year, and he's had a very effective year.
Well, Tom Moore, their offensive coordinator, comes from the old school where the passing game starts with protection. And there's Moore on the sideline, and this guy's been around, and he knows an upright quarterback is the only one that can complete a pass. And that is, you know, a lot of offensive coordinators, I think, get caught up a little too much in the fancy schemes and all this and all that. Protect your quarterback first.
Toss to Edgerrin James. Loses yardage. Back to the 46. Sam Rogers and Sam Cowart. Cowart, who had a monster game last week with 18 tackles.
Well, he's the leading tackler for the Buffalo Bills. And you know, they've rearranged their entire defensive scheme to suit one guy because they had to get Sam onto the field. There he is. Look at him slicing through. Of course, he gets a lot of help there. Marlo Perry, another guy in on the tackle. But somebody forgot to tell Buffalo that this game didn't mean very much to them.
3rd and 14. The stunt. Edgerrin James slips a tackle, but he'll be short of the 1st down at the 45. 4th down. Doubleheader for you today, and coming next, most of you will see Miami at Washington, depending on what happens in earlier games. That one may or may not have significance for Miami. Hunter Smith on for his 2nd punt. 4th down. Williams will let this one drop, and perfect downfield coverage supplied by Billy Austin. So the Bills are pinned inside the 5. 1st down and 10. Right side for Moulds in front of Jeff Burris. And he's down to the 11-yard line. Let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Vern, the emotion's been building on the Bills sideline in concern with Andre Reed moving up the ladder on the all-time receptions list. And in fact, Doug Flutie just came over to Andre when he was sitting on the bench on the sideline, tried to talk to him, and Reed wouldn't even look at him. He just shook his head. He said, 2 more passes, just give me the ball 2 more times, man. Vern.
And if he gets 2 more, he goes into 2nd place all time. He'll pass Art Monk number of catches in a career. They'll hand it off this time, and nothing doing as Jonathan Linton gets the carry. And again, Antoine Smith with a concussion taken to the locker room in the first half. And we've yet to see Thurman Thomas in this game.
Let's take a look and see what kind of a line surge. Buffalo's offensive line has really been getting it done in the first half. Right there, nothing going. Mark Thomas held his ground and shed the blocker, and good square presence in the hole. But Buffalo pretty much had their way with the Colts in the first half with 245 yards of offense. And if you know this game, you know what's really impressive are those 3 80-plus yard drives.
Conathy will snap it back to Johnson out of the shotgun. Johnson goes for Reamersma, first down, out to the 32-yard line. 22-yard gain.
Not a textbook spiral by any means of the imagination, but it sure got there. Look at this thing wobble on its way home. And Jay Reamersma made a really nice adjustment on the ball as he had to come back to it for a ball that was behind him and low. Luckily, though, when a pass starts to flutter like that, it slows down so much, it gives you time to react coming back to it.
First down and 10. Johnson dropped by Bobby Collins, the tight end, number 84. 2nd and 10.
Rookies sometimes lose their concentration. And Bobby Collins is a rookie, and he lost his concentration. I never played tight end or wide receiver. I don't know what it's like to walk back to the huddle after having done that, but I have to assume that it's kind of a gut-wrenching feeling on your way back.
2nd down and 10. Johnson pumps once, comes out to Jonathan Linton. He's got 2 blockers in front, and he gets a terrific block from Conathy, Bill Conathy. A gain of 12. Larry Chester with the tackle.
There's Conathy, the center. Here's Conathy right here as he comes out. Check this out. We were asking Rob Johnson about, hey, what's it like? You know, Jerry Ostrowski, the normal center, isn't going to play. Here you are. You're getting your first start, and the #1 center won't be in there. He said, are you kidding me? Conathy's the scout team center. He and I have thousands of snaps together.
Every week.
I didn't think about that. Rob Johnson brought his own center along this time.
First down 10. Toss to Linton going right. And Mike Peterson, who has had a wonderful year, comes up and makes the tackle, number 52. Tonight on 60 Minutes, you don't have to root for the Jets or even be a football fan.
Certainly he has the edge.
Oh, dear. 2nd down. Left side, Reed drops it.
Well, not a good throw.
No, it wasn't.
No. No, Rob Johnson spun him around on that one. Got a penalty against Buffalo anyway, so it wouldn't have counted even if Andre was able to bring it in.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men moving prior to the snap, and they did not reset. Number 84 and 85. Penalty is declined, 3rd down.
Let's check it out here. You've got, if 2 guys are going, you see both guys are in motion, but both guys have to come to a stop before the snap of the football. And that didn't happen. I think that was Jay Reamersma there moving around, and he did not get set.
And Reed is going to come to the sideline on 3rd and 13. Timeout is called by the Buffalo Bills. 6:50 playing his 241st game today, and on the bench as well, Bruce Smith, who's playing in his 236th, and on the field, first time we've seen him, Thurman Thomas. This is number 193. Between that trio, 670 games for the Buffalo Bills. Johnson down the middle for Reamersma, can't quite forget it. Jason Belzer was the defender.
Oh, but what a good throw. What a good throw by Rob Johnson to a Riemersma who's really covered well. Again, I am really surprised for the guy who's gone a year in between starts. Look at the touch that he's able to put on the football right here. Putting it on Riemersma's hands. He can't underthrow it because it'll be an interception for sure by Belzer. That is just a sensational throw by Rob Johnson. It would have been a great catch, but it's not an INT.
Chris Moore moves left to grab the snap and sends it deep to Terrence Wilkins. Oh, wow. Hello. Out of bounds at the 3.
Choose your minivan. From the most luxurious Chrysler Town & Country Limited to America's lowest priced Voyager. Voyager, named a Consumer's Digest Best Buy 11 years in a row. And maybe that's why more people choose from our family of minivans than any other. Now get $12.50 cash allowance on all Chrysler minivans, or lease Voyager for $239 a month.
So with Staples.com, you order the supplies you want, I approve them, and they're delivered the next day.
You mean I can order pins?
Yes.
Paper?
Yes.
How about an executive leather chair?
No.
Paper clips?
Yes.
Linda.
When you people are finished, I have a light bulb in my office that he's changing too. I love the way they pull together.
Want great prices on everything, even furniture? Staples.com.
Overwhelmed by e-business? Don't be. Get the software, services, and partners that make it easier. The business internet. It starts with Microsoft.
She gave the world Little House on the Prairie, but her real life was more amazing than any of her novels.
You've been given a gift.
Beyond the Prairie, the true story of Laura Ingalls Wilder, CBS tonight.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Staples, the official office supply provider of the NFL, and by Microsoft. Where do you want to go today?
Chris Moore's punt pins the Colts at the 3-yard line. First down and 10. And Buffalo leads this one 21-6. Edgerrin James skips out to the 5-yard line. Tackle made by Sam Coward. 2 weeks from today on CBS, the premiere of an extraordinary new drama about the power of courage and the reward of sacrifice. Blair Underwood and Vivica A. Fox star in City of Angels. That premieres 2 weeks from today on CBS. From the 5, second down and 8 with 6:12 in the third quarter.
The #1 ranked defense in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills.
Here comes the blitz. They read it. Marvin Harrison has it in front of Winfield, and that will give Indianapolis a first down.
And Vern, one of the things that's really surprising me is that Bruce Smith is still playing in this football game. Bruce and his 11 Pro Bowls, I think a lot of people thought that he would this would be a good game to sit him down. And yeah, I think he's really demonstrating what a competitor he is. Marvin Harrison, again, the NFL's leading receiver. But Bruce Smith, I am so impressed that he wants to play because he knows how much that #1 ranking means to the rest of his defensive teammates.
First down and 10 from the 15. The handoff and the stiff arm from Edgerrin James, but Thomas Smith is there to make the tackle. I'll give you a little perspective on Bruce Smith's career, Dan. He's in his 15th year. He comes in today with 7 sacks. He's the second all-time leading sacker in the history of the NFL. He's never gotten Manning. His rookie year, he had 6.5 sacks. That was 1985. He had a bad knee injury in '91, so he got only 1.5 sacks. In every other season, he's been in double digits in sacks. It's a remarkable career.
And do you remember the knock on him when he was a rookie? that he was overweight and out of shape. Now he can hardly maintain 255.
Here he comes. Manning gets rid of it. And Sam Cowart makes the tackle on Ken Dilger.
I mean, Bruce Smith in the program is listed at 273. He's really in the 250s, in the high 250s. Here he comes again. Look at him drive, working against Tariq Glenn. And this guy is just one extraordinary football player. The mold already underway for his bust in camp.
3rd and 7. Stunts, Manning up behind James. Coverage from Henry Jones. It'll be 4th down.
And this Colts offense looking very mortal right now. Looking very average by the pressure from this Buffalo defense.
Hunter Smith comes on. Kevin Williams will drift deep. He waits for it at the 40-yard line. This one returnable. On the run, Williams at the 50. Tackled at the 44-yard line. Line drive punt of only 32 yards. 6 on the return.
Introducing the Sprint PCS wireless web phone by Motorola. The power of the internet is in your hand.
What does a website have to do with your daily health routine? Everything. CBS Health Watch by Medscape. We're the online authority to help you manage your health. Visit cbs.healthwatch.com every day for your health.
You know, people still ask me about the crash. I'm tired of talking about the crash. I mean, first of all, it wasn't even really a crash. 1929. That was a crash.
Yeah, that was bad.
98 was more like a market correction, typically defined by like 10, 20% drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which we consider the economic factors that are affecting the current risk premiums.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
Guess it's not that surprising.
we created a smarter kind of investor.
What do you know about expense ratios?
An expense ratio is a percentage.
What happens when a doctor puts profit before healing?
I plan to broadcast cosmetic procedures over the web. This is a travesty.
Only Chicago Hope, CBS Thursday.
Now, Dan, I don't want to give away the vintage of your aircraft going home, but those are your pilots.
I was going to warm up my thumb. I suspect not. They're having fun here.
Absolutely.
And besides, they don't have to wear a hat as warm as it is today. They can show their beautiful pate.
And off Linton, a couple of yards. Monday night on CBS begins with The King of Queens, starring Kevin James and Jerry Stiller. That's followed by Ladies' Man, and it's Monday's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, and Becker, starring Ted Danson, plus the most noteworthy and accomplished women of the year on the Ladies' Home Journal special. That's Monday night on CBS. Doug Flutie is active for today. He's listed as the #2 quarterback, but not expected to play. Johnson, chased by Larry Chester, will tuck it and run it. And is out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That's a yard short of the first down.
Well, for a guy whose year has been occupied with running the other team's offenses during the week of practice, Rob Johnson looks really calm, collected in the pocket, and very aware of everything that's going around him. This is not a frantic run. This is a very under control scramble. And it is really difficult to find any fault with anything that Rob Johnson has done so far today.
3rd down and 1, so the power outfit comes out on the field. Sheldon Jackson lines up tight to the left side. Now in motion. They drill it to Kevin Williams. He's got the first down, plus yardage inside to the 17.
Well, that's the luxury of Joe Pendry, I think, knowing that even if they threw an incomplete pass here, they were still going to go for it on 4th down and less than a yard. But here on 3rd and less than a yard, they take the opportunity to go for the bigger play. And Tyrone Poole just giving way too big a cushion to Kevin Williams. And then even after the catch, 3 Colts missed tackles.
Andre Reed back on the field with Eric Moulds on 1st down and 10. Under 2 to go, 3rd quarter. Linton coming left. Ratcliffe Thomas is going to get a long look at middle linebacker this afternoon. Made the tackle.
Well, there's one of the things that Thomas brings to the field is outstanding speed at the middle linebacker position. He just runs down Jonathan Linton. At that point right there, you thought Linton had the angle. But that was a tremendous closing burst linebacker for the Colts.
2nd down and 8. 1:15 to go. 3rd quarter. That's Reed in motion. And Johnson tucks it and runs it. Gets a block from Fina and is close for 1st down yardage. Mark Thomas and Bertrand Berry got there, but got there late.
Well, Rob Johnson, again, he's scrambling and showing how easily he does so. Tucks it, runs it, but he's got a real presence of knowing where it is. And right there, Berry got the jersey, but at the end of this, Rob Johnson comes really close to taking a big-time shot right there. Mark Thomas, luckily, he was being pulled away from that blow by Mark Thomas by Berry tugging on his jersey.
1st and goal. They hand it off to Linton. He comes left and is inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Final 28 seconds of the 3rd quarter.
And right now, given the state of Jacksonville and Cincinnati and the state of this game and what's happening, pretty much looks like Jacksonville is going to get the #1 seed unless we see a couple of remarkable 4th quarters in both games.
That's the end of 3 from the Ralph. Our score 21-6. We'll return to Ralph Wilson Stadium right after this word from your local station. 21-6. Andre Reed needing 2 more receptions to become the 2nd all-time pass receiver in numbers of catches in the history of the NFL. Jerry Rice, of course, is #1. 2nd and goal. Reed in motion. Handoff Linton.
Did his knee touch before he got the ball across?
There's no indication from either linesman.
They're going to talk about it.
Yep.
Yes, they're saying his knee was down before he stretched the ball across the plane. Well, let's play official. Our camera right here on the goal line behind the lead block of Remersma and Sheldon Jackson. And that's a good call. The knee of Linton was down.
The ball just shy of the goal line.
74 is out.
Jackson in the backfield. Remersma in motion. Play fake. Caught. Bobby Collins. 27-6.
Well, when you've been running the football as effectively as Buffalo has, this is a good time to run play action. Ratcliffe Thomas, the middle linebacker, trying to get out on Bobby Collins. It was a good sell. And right now, this is a pretty good whooping that the Buffalo Bills are putting on the Colts.
Buffalo's lead increased to 28-6. quarter, Buffalo in command, 28-6. And Steve Christie getting ready to kick off for the Bills. Terrence Wilkins and Keith Elias are the two deep men. This will be Wilkins from the 7. Comes left, out of bounds by Winfield's tackle at the 33-yard line. Now let's see. Peyton Manning does come back on the field.
I think Jim Mora is making a statement here. You guys don't deserve to come off the field. You haven't scored a touchdown yet, 2 field goals, a whole lot less than what I expected. And let's not forget the fact that Buffalo beat them pretty good the first game of the season, and now they're doing it again. And they may see each other in the playoffs.
First down and 10. That one's across the middle, and E.J. Green takes a pop from Holisek. Well, think about this, Dan. This is a very high-scoring offense, Indianapolis. They have been held under 20 points only twice this year, both timed by the Jets. And that victory in Game 1 was Indianapolis's over the Bills, 31-14.
Right. You're exactly. I misspoke when I said to Buffalo. Well, it was 31-14 Indianapolis.
Notice how I
tried to correct.
Well, I tried to sneak it in.
I don't know what I
tried to. No, I was sneaking it in underneath.
Well, no, I wasn't very sneaky in saying it. So you should have been sneaky in correcting me.
Here's a pass to Dilger after the 50-yard line. I was trying to be subtle.
It was a misdirection on my part.
That's what it was.
Trying to make sure people are listening closely.
I was.
There is Ted Cottrell, who's the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, and life is good. Life is good when you've got this kind of a lead, and you're taking a look at the NFL's leading receiver, the NFL's leading rusher, the AFC's leading passer, and you haven't allowed him in the end zone yet.
Oh, baby. Bruce Smith. Oh, gee.
There's a call.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. That's the other way to say this is not much there. There is no hole whatsoever. Bruce Smith so good at getting upfield and closing back to his original lane. You know, it used to be that you never ran around a block because you weren't quick enough to get back into your gap and get back into your hole. Bruce Smith, those rules go out the window.
Second down and 12 out of the shotgun. Here comes Smith. Gets there just after the pass is delivered. And Tarek Glenn tries to throw Bruce Smith. You got a couple of 78s going at each other. Larry Moore is also in the middle of this.
Well, Bruce Smith got upfield and around the corner on Tarek Glenn. Bruce talking to Bob McElwee. An upfield rush. He's got Glenn turned, and Bruce Smith, as we have seen a million times. And right there, Glenn comes over and pushes Bruce Smith backwards. And I don't blame Bruce Smith for being upset about that. Tarek Glenn is just upset because he got whipped by Bruce Smith, and Bruce got bent back at an awkward angle. And folks, this will be fun to watch. This will be fun to watch. Glenn's hoping for a draw play.
Screen pass almost picked off by Sean Price. Fourth down.
Well, Glenn didn't even have to block Bruce Smith on that play, and that's a good deal for Glenn. The net result is pretty much the same. It's going to be another Indianapolis punt. Bruce Smith really unblocked on this play, kind of confused as to where the ball is. Then he, along with all the other Buffalo defensive linemen, go for the block, and they get it.
Hunter Smith on the punt on fourth down.
Who won the first game between these two?
This one.
Can't believe you made a mistake like that.
I know. Well, I had some Y2K problems.
Well, I have to correct you one more time.
And a fight breaks out up at the Daryl Porter's one of them. And Eric Smedley.
There is a flag on the field.
This is probably not the feature match of the night.
Number 25, after the ball was kicked, the receivers will keep the ball after the penalty for their foul. First down.
Donovan Greer, guilty of the infraction. 12:23 to go in the game. CBS. Rob Johnson, first start of the season.
Well, probably really looking forward to that next start next December. He started the last game of last season, and this is the first start since then. The guy's going to play a long time, only starting one game a year.
Yes. He'll have fresh legs when he's 43. Handoff. Linton out to the 11-yard line. Jason Belzer with a tackle. Now, next Sunday, it'll be conference crunch time on CBS. Second down and 4. Andre Reed has now tied Art Monk with 940 catches.
And how tuned in is this crowd? They know it. Tied with Art Monk at 940. Just to give you an idea of the greatness of Jerry Rice, they are tied for second place, over 300 catches behind Jerry Rice.
That does give it context.
Yes, it does.
Let's take another look at the catch. We've got a flag, delay a game.
Little history in the making. Again, it's just the simplest of patterns, and that's what Andre has really been running. But again, we have a tendency to forget what a great runner after the catch Andre Reed has been his entire career. A very powerfully built guy who has always been one of the premier receivers in the league, yards after the catch.
First and 15 after the delay of game call. Let's go the other way. Now he's in second place alone.
There you go. Joe Pendry, standing ovation. Way to get him the ball. What's going in? Anybody even going to help me up after I...
There's the 4th-round draft pick from 1985. He was just being applauded by the 1st-round draft pick in 1985. Andre Reed, Kutztown State.
There they are. Good stuff.
Handoff Linton, who's also from Allentown, PA, by the way, which is Andre Reed's hometown. And Jonathan Linton out to the 26-yard line before Chad Cota makes the tackle.
.941 receptions is a lot of work. And again, nothing really dramatic as far as deep posts or fly patterns or anything like that. All by himself in second place, Andre Reed, whose career, by the way, is still going on. And Andre in tears.
Johnson, flags fly. Riemerson has got the catch at the 32, but there is a penalty on this play. Chad Cota.
And the emotions for Andre Reed, and he's coached by a Hall of Famer. His position coach, the great Charlie Joyner, right there. A man who, when he retired from the National Football League, was the NFL's all-time leading receiver. And again, the crowd demanding a bow from Andre. think it doesn't matter.
I think he might join you in Canton someday.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. I don't think there's any doubt. Good for Andre Reed.
Time has been called by Buffalo. We'll be right back. Andre Reed receives an embrace from his head coach Wade Phillips and a congratulatory handshake from his quarterback Doug Flutie. Andre Reed, now the second all-time leading pass receiver in NFL history. Here's a shank.
And Vern, I would assume that the next guy that Andre Reed would probably like to hug and shake his hand would be some guy named Jim Kelly, a guy who threw him most of those passes.
Yes, indeed. And let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Vern, it's been a very, very emotional day for Andre Reed. Even before the game started, I told you I spoke with him, and he was coming out to the tunnel to warm up. And just when the team were breaking out into drills, Eric Moulds walked up to him, gave him a big hug, followed by all the other receivers. And it was just kind of surreal to watch him during the pregame. He was very stoic. He was just kind of looking around the stadium to soak up the ambiance. And although athletes change their mind about their futures quite frequently, they're really, you got a sense of finality from Andre Reed.
New quarterback, and it's knocked back in his face. Sean Price, as Steve Walsh has replaced Peyton Manning. So Manning done for the day with his team trailing 28-6.
Andre Reed one more time acknowledging the crowd. And look at look what it means to him. Some guys just love this game more than others, and he's one of them. By the way, Jim Kelly threw him 665 or 6 of those.
65.
65.
Here's Wilkins, gets by Schultz, and he's down at the 45-yard line. Tackle made by Darrell Porter, number 22.
Just a simple little underneath screen. That's a setup. Trying again to get Terrence Wilkins and use that open field running ability. Steve Walsh just got crushed.
Yes, he did. The pass intended for Wilkins and Thomas Smith with Darrell Porter defending. But Sam Rogers introduced himself to Steve Walsh.
Sam Rogers is here at the bottom of the screen, lined up in a pass rushing situation. Just comes to the inside and turned loose by the Colt offensive line. No, that's a good hit. Steve Walsh hasn't, you know, this guy's been around a long time, 11 years, and he's not going to get that call. It's not going to happen.
Walsh out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Bruce Smith comes at him, and the pass for Elias is incomplete. It'll be 3rd down. How about Bruce Smith still out there in a 28-6 game?
Well, Buffalo a little short on the defensive line. Phil Hansen couldn't play today because he's got some bad ribs. But right now, I think I'd put linebackers or something else. I think this is just a statement how much this #1 ranking means to this defensive unit. I would get Bruce Smith out of the game. I would take him off the field and say the rest of the guys, hold up your end of things.
3rd down and 10. Walsh comes left for Elias, and the tackle made by Thomas Smith. That's far short of the yardage needed for the 1st down. It'll be 4th down. Now what this will mean is that the Jacksonville Jaguars will have the #1 seed. They're going without the huddle on 4th down. 4th and 3. Walsh in trouble, and he hits the umpire in the ankle.
Scott Dawson did a pretty good job of knocking that down. The officials are part of the field. Walsh, his vision's a little obscured by a jailbreak.
It is a young.
First down and 10, and the Buffalo Bills take over with Rob Johnson, the quarterback, 21 of 26 for the day. Lennox Gordon is in at running back. They're going to fire it to Eric Moulds. And he's quickly out to the 50 with a 13-yard gain in front of Tony Blevins. Tonight on 60 Minutes, you don't have to root for the Jets or even be a football fan to love the guy who coaches them, Mike Wallace. Scrimmages with Bill Parcells, 60 Minutes tonight. That's followed by an all-new Touched by an Angel. Then go beyond the prairie for the true story of Laura Ingalls Wilder. Tonight on CBS. Pump once, right side for Moulds, and he is held up by Blevins. This will be illegal contact, I would imagine.
Illegal contact, holding, take your pick.
Mugging.
He prevented a touchdown.
He did. Oh,
interference.
Plain old interference.
Yeah, defensive pass interference, number 26, first down.
Just all depends on the call and whether the ball has been released or not. But Blevins chewed all over that inside fake by Moulds, and actually Moulds got a pretty good grab on Blevins as he went by. But that was, boy, talk about jumping all over that little inside jitterbug.
And that's an 18-yard penalty, a first down Buffalo.
Buffalo not content to just grind it out on the ground.
Johnson, right side for Moulds. Oh, my goodness, he was wide open. It went over his outside shoulder. He had beaten Eric Smedley.
Just to add to your call, Vern,
yes,
I would just say by about 6 yards. Some type of a mistake in the Colts coverage. You can see Smedley, Blevins rather, number 26, was playing a zone where he was expecting help to the outside. Eric Smedley, the safety, wasn't where Blevins expected him to be for sure. That's what happens in a situation like this. A lot of people looking at each other saying, why didn't you do what you were supposed to do?
Here's Johnson. Deep double coverage this time for Moulds, and that one's incomplete. It'll be third down.
Buffalo comes out here protecting a 28-6 lead on this series. I don't believe they've run a play on this series. They've thrown every time.
Eric Reed clutching that football that was the 941st catch of his career. Andre Reed. Andre Eric Reed.
One of those days.
Here's Johnson. And there's Johnson sliding down with a first down at the 14-yard line. 16-yard gain.
It's been a splendid day throwing the football for Rob Johnson. He has left the pocket about 5 times today in varying degrees of success, all of them successful, but always under control. And for a guy who this is his 8th start in the National Football League, spread out over a 5-year career. Not a lot of action, but he has got a presence, Vern. He's got a comfort level today that kind of surprises me.
5:40 to go in this one. It goes to Moulds inside the 5 in front of Tony Blevins. Eric Moulds is closing in on a 1,000-yard season. And Billy Austin slow getting up.
Right through the hands of Mark Thomas, right onto the hands of Eric Moulds. And this is just really shocking to me that in this situation that Buffalo, they have not run the football except when Rob Johnson ran it.
And this one's knocked backwards.
And Jim Mora is obviously disappointed, and I'm wondering, I'm sure, how he's going to handle this with his team. Do you Do you berate them? Do you really lay into them for really turning in such a clunker in a game they needed to win? Or do you throw it in the trash can and just say, forget it? It doesn't matter. We're going on from here.
Lennox Gordon with a run down to the 2-yard line.
I think Jim Mora is more the old-fashioned coach that thinks you learn from your mistakes. I suspect that they'll take a good hard look at this film and figure out where things went wrong and how they can correct them. Because this is a football team you may very well see in a couple weeks.
Well, they had won 11 straight since that controversial loss on October 10th to Miami, and will finish the season at 13-3. That is a mirror turnaround from last year's record of 3-13. Last 2 years, as a matter of fact. Here's Lennox Gordon. He is knocked down as he gets back toward the line of scrimmage. Eric Smedley and Billy Austin. Now, the biggest one-year turnarounds in NFL history. It has been established by the Indianapolis Colts.
And look what the Rams did. 4-12 a year ago. Coming in today, 13-2. They're playing the Eagles today, and it's just remarkable that these two, and they are in many ways mirror images of each other, the Colts and the Rams.
I love the fact that Dick Vermeil and Jim Mora are enjoying this kind of success at their respective ages.
And look at the similarities. Peyton Manning had the awesome year. Kurt Warner at quarterback. Edgerrin James, he's mirrored by Marshall Faulk. Marvin Harrison, he's mirrored by Isaac Bruce. They are in many ways very similar teams, coached by a couple gray hairs who have been there, done that. And boy, you really have to feel really good for Jim Mora and for Dick Vermeil, two guys that have been to the salt mines before.
Field goal from Steve Christie.
Dick took that 14-year break that Jim Mora didn't take.
And Steve Christie now with 901 points following that field goal. He and Mike Vanderjagt, the respective kick for his counterpart for Indianapolis, both, by the way, from Ontario, little town of Oakville, Ontario. The two Canadian kickers in the NFL. Vanderjagt was a teammate of Doug Flutie's in Toronto a few years back, and they still revive an old contest. They have a drop kick contest 2 hours before every game. And Vanderjagt won it today from 50 yards out.
Have you ever tried to drop kick a football?
Yes, I have.
It is hard. It is very hard.
Forgotten art.
A lost art is right.
Yep. Now Jacksonville winning, and with a victory will secure the #1 seed throughout the AFC playoffs. Indianapolis will go to #2. Here's Christie.
Congratulations, Steve.
And it's taken by Terrence Wilkins. Wilkins down at the 30-yard line. About 2 hours before the game, Doug Flutie and Mike Vanderjagt came out. Flutie's the one who told us about this about a month ago. Now here you go. Flutie with the drop kick. Now Vanderjagt. Knocked it into the stands from 50 yards away.
Doug was looking at that ball with a real sense of admiration. Of course, Vanderjagt, what is he, 6'5"?
Yes.
What a, if you can't kick anymore, he can go play tight end.
Steve Walsh will shovel pass to Keith Elias. And Marlo Perry is there for the tackle. Which one of us wants to say Lee Grosscup first?
The Cupper?
Yep. The
Shovel
old Utah pass.
Pretty hard for me to say Lee Grosscup first when your question to me is which one of us is going to say Lee Grosscup first? You win at the same time you ask the question.
As intended. Pat Williams with the tackle on Keith Elias. Second game of the doubleheader coming up next. Most of you will see Miami at Washington. Others will watch Tennessee at Pittsburgh and San Diego at Denver. Well, among the notables today, you saw Here's at the line of scrimmage. There's Van Miller, and a footnote on Van Miller's career in just a moment. Here's Steve Walsh coming left. Sliding interception made by Thomas Smith. Smith picks it up, and the counter punch is down to the 15-yard line.
And a deserving celebration for this defensive unit of Buffalo. A ball severely underthrown by Steve Walsh. Thomas Smith really had to come back for it and go down on the ground to scoop it up. But Ted Cottrell and this defensive unit, they came into this game wanting to leave here the #1 defensive team in the National Football League. And I think they've made quite a statement today. Quite a statement.
And one of the realities of football in the 90s, they all get to then stop and watch on the jumbo screen and admire themselves. First down and 10. 27 yards on the interception return. Lennox Gordon gets by Smedley and picks up a yard.
You know, Vern, admiring oneself has become an art form in professional sports these days.
It's the all-important celebration of me. 1-6 Buffalo. Keep in mind that this Indianapolis team is the 3rd highest team scoring team in the NFL. They've not been held without a touchdown this year. This has been a dominant performance by Buffalo.
And if you looked at the score of this game and you say, well, geez, it was in Buffalo the 2nd of January. No wonder they didn't score. The weather was off. The weather's ideal. It was a perfect Indianapolis could not have asked for better conditions than they found here today in Orchard Park. It's just they ran into a buzzsaw in the Buffalo defense. They were physically manhandled by Buffalo's defensive unit today.
They have, they being Indianapolis, 226 yards of offense so far. Buffalo over 400. Quick pass out to Eric Moulds. He's closing in on a 1,000-yard season, and he's inside the 5-yard line. Well, we mentioned before the 2-minute break, Van Miller. Today he begins his 5th decade of radio broadcasts of Buffalo Bills games. They opened their careers 1960 against the New York Titans. Van Miller was calling that game. He called the first home game a win at Old War Memorial against Denver, and today his 5th decade of service to this team. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it sure is. Congratulations, Van.
Eric Moulds 8 for 110 today.
74 done.
Timeout Buffalo. That is their last.
It's interesting. Buffalo took a timeout, and half their players didn't know it. They're still up at the line of scrimmage.
Jacksonville winning over Cincinnati at home. Indianapolis losing here. So here's the picture of this time. Seattle losing today, and Kansas City losing at the current time.
Well, what's important in those two games, Vern, is that if Kansas City loses, they're out of the playoffs altogether, and Seattle becomes the #3 seed, even if they lose as well. If Kansas City loses, that is just really big news for the Seahawks. So Seattle could end up losing the game and still end up being the #3 seed if the Chiefs lose.
And help me out here as I follow this tortured path.
I'm trying.
If Kansas City and Seattle both lose, then the Dolphins are in the playoffs.
That is correct. That is correct. Kansas City, actually, Miami rather, needs either one of them to lose. They both don't have to lose. If just one of them loses, Miami's in.
I had a friend who's passed on named Steve Perkins back in the 70s in Dallas.
Right.
He was an NFL beat writer. We used to try and figure this out. He said, you know what? They're going to wake me up on Monday morning and tell me which game I have to cover.
There you see the playoff scenario we were just talking about. The simplest thing to keep in mind, though, is that if the Chiefs lose, they're gone. They are they control their own destiny in that respect.
Second game of the doubleheader. Most of you will see Miami at Washington. Others will watch Tennessee at Pittsburgh or San Diego at Denver. First and goal.
Come on, man.
And Johnson will take a knee.
In that second game that's coming up here on CBS, Washington is playing. They still are trying to become the number 2 seed rather. They're fighting it out with Tampa Bay.
Yes, and if Tampa Bay wins, then Tampa Bay,
become the number 2 seed. Because Tampa Bay is a game up on Washington going into the games this weekend. I know a lot about this, but that's for a guy who didn't know who won the first Buffalo-Indy.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan, if you've got the #1 defense in the NFL, you can go a ways in the playoffs. I know they're going to have to go on the road.
And
but
probably
I think,
to Nashville.
Yep.
Probably to Tennessee. That could change, but the odds are that they're going to end up going to Nashville to play the Titans. Andre Reed, what a special day for Andre, and whether or not he's back here next year, no one knows. As always, with every team in the league, the salary cap has a lot to do with it. I think that sentiment probably expresses what a lot of Buffalo fans feel.
The Reed family. His daughter Auburn and his son Andre Jr. down on the bench with him. Wade Phillips and the Buffalo Bills win their 11th of the season, and they put the plug in a Colt 11-game winning streak. Coming next, the Miami Dolphins take on the Washington Redskins, Tennessee at Pittsburgh, or San Diego at Denver. Our final 31-6 Buffalo. For Dan Deerdorf and Bonnie Bernstein, I'm Vern Lundquist saying goodbye from Orchard Park, New York. Now let's go to Jim Nance.
And today, as they defeated the Indianapolis Colts and snapped their winning streak at 11 with a resounding 31-6 win at Ralph Wilson Stadium. And quickly a look at the playoff situation. The Bills Saturday will play at Tennessee against the 13-3 Tennessee Titans, formerly Houston Oilers, and that should be a real barn burner. The Bills finish at 11-5, and guys, I suppose the first thing we should do here, for those of you who may have forgotten what our pick was early in the year, we were laughing because we all picked the same number. Every one of us said
11-5.
11-5. Boy, that's like.
But you see, we're wrong.
Scary.
We're wrong so frequently that when we're right, we have to point it out.
See, it's up to us to remind you when we're right. It's up to you to remember when we're wrong. Isn't that the way this works?
Always.
Wait a minute. You can say you're wrong, but
we showed class all the way around today. Andre showed class. The Bills showed class. And this has been kind of a volatile situation in recent weeks, and I thought it was a very fitting final home game for him if it does in fact turn out to be that.
I just thought it was a pretty good peek into the future with Rob Johnson, more so than the Andre Reed. I had a feeling Andre was going to get those catches. It was nice to see that. It was nice to see it happen at home, but Rob Johnson kind of waving the flag here saying, guys, you better not forget about me because come training camp, I'm coming.
No question about that, and again, I agree with you, but I don't think any discussion of Rob Johnson or Doug Flutie should be a Bash Flutie situation to talk. Already in the playoffs, on the road, no matter what happened. Not only that, Johnson at quarterback, first time all season to rest Doug Flutie. Thurman Thomas wouldn't have a single carry. As we mentioned, Sam Gash wouldn't play. You had a backup center, a right guard, and a right tackle that would play most of the game, backups. All this against a Colts team that comes in 13-2, including 11 straight wins. A Colts team hoping to gain home field throughout the playoffs. Who could have seen this one coming, really? We certainly didn't. Rob Johnson getting the start, very confident on a balmy day in Orchard Park in the 50s, sunny, third quarter. Johnson to Andre Reed, his third catch of the day, a 6-yard gain, his 50th of the season, 13 or more seasons, 50 or more ties Jerry Rice for second, and the Bills D hitting Anton Winfield, 11 tackles, smashes Marvin Harrison, and then the Bills stuffed James for a 4-yard loss. The Bills defense limiting the Colts to just 226 yards, making a statement. Andre Reed, an 11-yard catch here, his 940th of the career, tying him for second all-time with Art Monk in the NFL standings. And Johnson to Reed, and this is it. For second all-time, this is all-time in the NFL behind Jerry Rice. Reed playing perhaps his last game as a Bill. Very, very emotional after this one.
You know, you play this game so many years, and you try to set goals for yourself every year, and you try to achieve those goals individually as well as a team. and I was a part of all that. And whether or not I'm going to be here next year or not, I know I got a whole bunch of memories I can, you know, put in my pocket, and whenever I need to bring them out, I can just go in my pocket and get them.
He is a Hall of Famer, and he's made himself that. And for so many years, when the chips were down, number 83 is delivered here, and I'm glad to see. I'm glad that he got the record at home in front of the fans, and awfully glad to see him achieve what he's achieved, because he deserves it.
No, he started crying before I even got over there. It was just a wonderful feeling, and for me to be a part of it for 12 years, and for Bruce to be here with Andre for his whole 15 years, no, it was just something special. And you know, I know it was getting kind of late there in the game, and I just kept telling Andre just to hang in there, keep your head up, keep running your routes, keep doing whatever got you to this point, and which was not giving up, going out there and running your routes and doing whatever it takes to win this ball game. And you know, he went out, got his catches, and rightfully so. He was supposed to get them, and he got them today at home.
Andre Reed, a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, deserves to be there in a Bills uniform. Late now in the fourth quarter, the Bills up 28-6, and Rob Johnson going deep for Eric Moles, and he does it a couple of times, and you start wondering, are the Bills trying to run up the score? No, that's not it at all, says Moles.
Not really. I mean, Rob wanted to throw the ball deep, and those are the things that he likes to do. So anytime your quarterback likes to do those things, you adjust your routes for your receivers to be able to go deep when the quarterback loves to throw that route.
All right, so the Bills trying to do that, and of course Rob Johnson again doing some nifty scrambling. And this picks up a first down and would lead to a Steve Christie 19-yard field goal that puts the...
Certainly to get Andre the football for his records, and for the defense to be #1 in the league, which I think we accomplished all those.
I think today we gave Buffalo a mental edge on us. And I mean, it's even worse. They're in our division, and we got to play them twice a year. So, you know, not only if we see them begin in the playoffs, but just in previous years, you know, we haven't came to Buffalo and, you know, made a statement. And that's what we tried to do today, but it didn't work.
Those guys played hard. You know, their offense made plays. Their defense showed why they are the #1 defense in the NFL. So, like I said, we can learn a lot from this game, and it's a good sign to us that we need to play better in the playoffs.
These last 3 wins that we've won gives us.
I've already answered all those questions. I'm not.
Why is it so preposterous to think that your offense will be better?
Hey, I've already answered all those questions going into it. I said it last week.
But Rob played so well.
And I'm not mad. Hey, I'm happy that